Hello, and welcome to the podcast that demystify your queries and help to navigate the journey to your dream B school. Today, we have with us campus head and director Dr. Anupama Raina ma'am, who is going to decode these questions with her expertise and invaluable insights.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
Ma'am, so here we are. The first question that we have is what kind of opportunities does IBS have for industry exposure?
See, what we do is at IBS, the industry exposure starts from day one. We have, when students do come, they join us, we have orientation sessions, we have recruiters coming to the classes. We tell them in the first day itself that what is that they're expecting from these new joinees, what are they expecting from students, how do they work on themselves, how should they prepare themselves for the industry requirement and all that. So I would say that is the first exposure we have. The moment they get into their regular classes, we immediately start with guest talks. We have institutional building cell which works on inviting high profile people to the campus. That's another exposure we have, which is in the initial days. Later on then students are exposed to multiple projects, which are company specific projects, or where we tell them to go out and find out how the companies are preparing their balance sheets, and this is all part of their regular classroom teaching. Then followed by summer internship program and plant visits and many other things. So this campus is full of activity. There's a excellent interaction with the corporate, and similarly same exposure is being given to the students also.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Another query we have is what are specialization wise placement records, that is HR, finance, and marketing?
See, we have three major specializations, that is finance, marketing, HR, and in addition to that, there are plenty of minor specializations. Like we have analytics, we have e-commerce, we have digital, then lot of other like banking and other specializations. So generally students in terms of numbers do go in a similar number for finance and marketing, and slightly lesser in terms of HR, opting for HR specialization. And when we talk about placements, the average also is almost same. Like for class of 2025, we have already completed 85% placements, and 15% the processes are still going on. And by next, I think 15-20 days, we'll be able to complete 100% placement. And when we talk about companies, finance profiles and all the excellent profiles which comes to us across industries, companies do come and participate in our campus placement process. So finance average at this point in time is 8 lakhs, and similarly same for marketing also. For HR, it is comparatively less as compared to finance marketing. It's approximately 7.5 as an average.
Another query that we received is how does the institute help students prepare for placements?
See, as I said in the previous question also, that our placement preparation starts from day one. When they come for orientation, the recruiters are part of the classroom session. They tell them the expectations they have from these new joinees, how can they prepare themselves. Like for example, they make it mandatory for every student to read Economic Times. So the preparation starts from day one, and when they get into their semester one, there are a lot of trainings which we give them. We in fact let them do a lot of certifications also, because today corporates do not want them to have only subject knowledge, but they want them to do something additional also. Like we expose them for certifications in the area of Power BI. In semester 3, we want them to do Bloomberg. Then there is a lot of other certifications like SQL and many other things which has a demand in the market. So in addition to that, as I said in the previous question also, there's an excellent exposure in the form of summer internship program. At IBS, from the beginning itself, the summer internship has been for approximately 3 months, where students almost do work for live projects. They're given similar kind of an experiences what they get at the time of final placement. Then in addition to that, there are crash classes where we prepare them for the companies which visit the campus, and before exposing them for campus placement, we conduct mock interviews where the senior professionals from the industry, they come, they conduct the mock interviews. They tell them about the strength and the weaknesses they have. They tell them the way to follow to overcome their weaknesses. So there are a lot of preparations which make students to go through, and that creates employability for us.
Ma'am, are there any global industry interaction or global guest lectures?
See, we do get people of that level who have worked at those particular platforms, who worked at international locations and all that. But As we, what we follow is we have a this international immersion cell, right? They conduct like tours at different places. Like for example, recently one of the group has gone to Dubai. So what we do is we invite the nominations from students and we take them to certain particular locations, and then the exposure is being given. Like for example, we take them to some B school, and we will have some 1 or 2 sessions conducted by the professors of that particular university. We make it sure that they visit some companies, some corporates, to see how the companies in that particular location are working. But that is based on the nominations which we seek from the students.
Ma'am, what support are we providing for students with special needs?
See, ours, let me talk about physically disabled students. We have a friendly infrastructure. Like in this particular building, it's a 6-floor building. It's a huge campus, approximately 1,20,000 square feet. And we have lifts on all corners. We have excellent security support system. In past also, I remember 2-3 years before, we had one student who was physically disabled, but there was a complete support being given to that student. In addition to that, we do have sometimes students who have faced very adverse situations in their personal life, and we have trainers in that case. We have appointed trainers who do not go to the class but who help these students. They do the counseling with them, they help them to overcome those particular problems. And at times we have seen students with having like stammering problem and epilepsy and all those. So when we go for campus hiring, we specially talk about these students to those particular recruiters, so that they know in advance that these students do have these kind of issues. And there are many companies who have come forward, and they've joined hands with us, and they have taken a lot of our students who had stammering problem and all those kind of things.
Ma'am, what facilities are available for the sports and physical fitness of the students in the campus?
See, today we understand that they themselves call it Gen Z. They are very, very active in terms of sports. So at IBS Gurgaon, as I said, it's a very excellent infrastructure we have. In addition to that, we have taken a land nearby where we conduct these sports activities. It is inter college, and multiple times we do that, not only in terms of specially for sports activity, but we do have some events also. We have an annual event which is called Blitz. In that also we make sports mandatory. In addition to that, we do have sports facilities within the campus also, where we have created certain rooms where students, because nowadays students do have a lot of stress in terms of projects and other things and all that. We want them to de-stress themselves by way of these sports. So the internal facility has also been created for students to rejuvenate themselves in the form of participation in sports activities.
Ma'am, are there any value-added courses or certifications for the students to enhance their skill set?
Absolutely. There are plenty of certifications which we want them to do, because job market is changing. Every year when we look at the JDs of the previous year and this year, there's a lot of change in that. Today the company wants students to have a hands-on knowledge. So there's a lot of exposure to the softwares. Like we teach them Tableau, we teach them Power BI, we give them SQL trainings. We have joined hands with many corporates, where they come forward and they teach students. Like BlackRock is one particular company where they have trained around 250 students last year on SQL. In addition to that, there are other certifications like Bloomberg. We are making it mandatory for all finance students. Whosoever will be opting for finance has to necessarily do their Bloomberg certification. Similarly, for this HR analytics is something where we want them to undergo some. So there are two types of certifications. One is mandatory, one is additional. Mandatory is something they will not be able to course unless and until they complete that mandatory certifications. And additional certifications are those where we share that information with the students, and we want them to come up and take up those particular certifications. In fact, you'll be very happy to know that in next 2 days we are signing an MOU with NISM, and NISM is also going to make certain certifications mandatory for students, and then at the same time it helps them to get placed in banking and financial service organizations.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Are there opportunities for research, entrepreneurship, or academic projects?
See, we have converted all these activities in the form of cells and clubs. Like we have entrepreneur development cell, where we are trying to get people who have become entrepreneurs over a period of time, and we bring them to the campus. We want them to talk to those students who are interested of starting something of their own, or who come from family business or something, so that it helps them to think of getting into something. And last year for class of 2024, we had around 32 students across 9 locations who did not wanted campus placement, but they wanted to start something of their own. And at the same time, under EDC, we conduct a kind of an activity where students are being told to come up with the ideas. We give them an open platform, they can come up with the products of their own and they can sell it and understand how the sales and marketing is being done. So plenty of activities under that, and at the same time we have a case research cell where we have made it mandatory for some students to be part of that particular cell, and through that particular cell we are encouraging students to write cases. There are a lot of students who have joined hands with faculties, and when they go and do the internship and all, many of them with the permission of the company do convert that in the form of research papers, research articles, and at the same time case studies. So definitely that exposure is there for the students who basically.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Thank
your
you so
enriching
much. Thank
insights.
you again for having me here. Thank you.